So after drawing out all of my plans for the coat hanger, it was then time to save it as a DXF, load it into CamBam, and convert it over into G-code. Now unfortunately I didn't end up filming any of that. However, if you go back to one of my, I think it's the dinosaur video, it shows the steps on how to do that. Or there's also other tutorials available online. So I cut out my first set of coat hangers, and right near the end of it I ended up finding out that I needed to reposition the hooks because I didn't have any holding tabs on them, and it broke free as it was getting cut out and smashed into the coat hanger and actually broke the hook off of the coat hanger. So my first set of coat hangers that I cut out didn't quite work, so I went and readjusted those and then started cutting out some more. So after getting all of the parts cut out for the coat hangers, it was then time to go and sand all of them down and get rid of the little burrs and things that are on the bottom side of it. So I went and brought them all home, and I was going to route them all at home and sand them down and stuff. And it was just too cold outside, and that's where our stuff is. So I ended up heading back to the space on a later day and rounding over the edges and doing some more sanding.
So I've got the top corners rounded out here. The underside I'm going to keep square, and then unfortunately I can't even get inside of here, so I'll sand that out a little bit. So now what I need to do is engrave the names onto the coat hangers. And what I'm going to do to start that off is I'm just going to go and make a box. And then print that out in the hopes that it'll land on top of the piece of tape in there. Zeroed that. Alright, let's do that once more. Alright, so now I have a line, and that is right where I'm going to go and align my coat hangers. So what I'm going to do again, see, double just like that. I'm going to re-zero once again so I have the proper height. Set up properly. So I'm going to go change that color to something I'm not going to use. And what I'll do is I'll add some text. Just under there. Line that up on that line as well, or at least relatively close. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then we want to change our black vector to raster. Properly. So I've got all of them etched with different departments. I have gotten them home and sanded them, and now I'm just looking for what I'm going to use to hold them together. I'll probably just find a nail and then just drill a hole and lay the nail so it's got some texture on the top that I can epoxy it into the hook, that I can hang it up like that. So, just gotta go find myself some nails.
It was quite cold outside, but seeing as that was the only place I was going to have to drill and make sure that it was at least relatively square, I went and brought all my parts outside and drilled the holes into the hooks for the coat hangers, and I made those just a little bit larger than the nails that I was going to be using so that I know I would at least get some epoxy in there. I could have probably gone just slightly smaller and then actually hammered the nails into it. That would have worked as well, but I ended up going with the epoxy route. And then I went and drilled all of the holes into the actual cross members of the coat hanger. And those I made sure that they were larger than the nail so that it would be able to swivel around with the actual hook.
So I've gone through and I cut nails down, and that's what I'll be using to hold the tops on. So I've got my nails. I'm going to use some two-part epoxy. And I just need to find something to mix that up with. Just mix that up. And then we'll just push the nail on through. Put a little bit on there and then just feed it right into the hole. Just like that. Again. And then you want to try and make sure that the epoxy doesn't, not like what it just did, touch the bottom piece here. So you want to try and keep a bit of a gap in between there. Now another option that you could do would be take a little bit of paper and punch a hole through that. Slide that on, and this way this will act as a sleeve, stopping the epoxy from adhering over to the. So now with that like that, when I put it on, it'll just stick to the paper, and then the paper you'll be able to just pull off after the fact. So just gonna let them set up. Hopefully they all work good, and I don't have to cut any heads off of the nails and remake any parts. So catch you all later.